In the year 2019, the Oakland Raiders made history in the worst way.
First day as a Raider, baby! Woo!
I feel like someone's smashing my temple on the side of the head.
Man, if I could work my ass out harder, anyone.
You think about the craziest mother...
Shouting the N-word.
Hard Knocks with Vontaze Burfict and Antonio Brown and Richie Incognito.
They were all on our team.
There's edge guys and there's maniacs. Absolute shakiest rap sheets. I really do believe the Raiders have the top 2 draft picks of crazy.
I mean, you know, we're always trying to find great guys. Isn't everybody?
They assembled a truly psychotic band of misfits, signing the dirtiest player.
Vontaze Burfict is a menace and could really hurt someone on the football field.
Then signing the craziest player.
Police soon conclude that Incognito is exhibiting bizarre behavior and place him on psychiatric watch.
And to top it all off, they got none other than Antonio Brown.
Because I've never seen anything this dumb before. It's incomprehensibly stupid.
So when I said what I said and he said what he said, it confirmed of the whole truth of what I already had said.
What followed was one of the most hilarious and action-packed sagas we've ever seen in NFL history.
I see a fucking hot air balloon. Antonio Brown.
Oh, Raider Nation, I'm here in Napa.
He threatened to hit the general manager in the face.
You call him a crack or whatever.
We all got played, man.
We're counting on you, and this is what you're doing.
This guy is the biggest locker room problem I've seen in the history of football.
Hello. Yo, what's up, Coach?
What the hell's going on, man?
It's been an emotional thing for me.
But the craziest part about all of this is that it almost worked.
2 times.
We were this close, we almost had him.
It's my friend right here.
Woo! Love you, Brody. Starting in jail.
We would have been Super Bowl.
Yeah, we were on our way.
Yeah, having you here, I'm thinking it's gonna be all right for us.
Coach Gruden, being nothing but family, you're gonna put your heart on the line for him. They give him whatever it takes.
We got our boy, bro.
In a helmet.
Good job.
Whatever you need from me, I'll tell you this thing by hope.
Antonio Brown's chapter with the Raiders, one of the most bizarre chapters that has ever unfolded with any player on any team at any point in the history of football.
Excuse me for a moment here.
People know Antonio Brown today as a wild comedic figure / sometimes rapper / anti-woke troll who posts stuff like quote-unquote cracker of the day on X.
I love you guys. I make all you guys the crackers of the days today. Make some noise for yourself. I feel like when I stopped playing football and I walked off the field, people was like, this guy's crazy. Like, he's retarded. You know what I'm saying? He's illiterate.
However, before Antonio Brown was trying to shock people on the internet, he was a beloved receiver on the Steelers who seemed destined for the Hall of Fame.
Antonio Brown establishing himself as one of the best receivers in the history of the league.
Antonio Brown, as far as I'm concerned, is the best. He's that elite, he's that great, he's that phenomenal.
But after Antonio Brown became the highest paid wide receiver in 2017, the money started to change him, and his obsession with social media began to show. The first red flag was that he live streamed the locker room after the game, violating NFL policy and catching his head coach Mike Tomlin trash talking their opponent.
So be it. We'll be ready for the ass.
But the problem is the head coach didn't know that he was Facebook Living and he was giving a private speech to the team.
And Tomlin was so angry, he blasted his wide receiver in front of the media.
I'll be bluntly honest here. It was foolish of him to do that. It was selfish for him to do that.
At first, it simply looked like Antonio Brown was becoming the most dreaded stereotype for all wide receivers since time immemorial. A diva. He also started letting his temper get to him while millions of people watched.
Antonio Brown was clearly frustrated during and after yesterday's game. Brown was seen yelling at offensive coordinator Randy Fichtner.
His Twitter tantrums started to sound increasingly unhinged, at one point threatening to break a reporter's jaw because the reporter, ironically, called out AB's social media usage. Like all true divas, his post-game press conferences started to get spicy.
I'm pissed off. We losing. We suck.
The Steelers franchise quarterback Ben Roethlisberger even started publicly calling out AB for his childish tantrums. This started a cascade of events that would ultimately lead to a messy divorce.
Antonio Brown obviously did not like an opinion on Twitter by a former member of the Steelers PR staff responding, "Trade me. Let's find out. To Ryan Scarpino, who said AB needs to thank his lucky stars because he was drafted by a team that had Ben.
This all looked like a declaration of war, but cooler heads ended up prevailing. AB said he just made a stupid remark and has to stay away from social media.
But obviously I don't want to betray, I'm still grateful to put on my uniform. Obviously it was a stupid remark online. Just got to stay away from online with the distractions.
But by the end of the 2018 season, it became clear that tensions had not died down. Apparently AB had actually fought Big Ben Roethlisberger in the locker room. AB spiked a football at him and then just walked out of practice. This was the beginning of the end, as AB refused to show up for team meetings, got suspended for a few games, and ultimately requested a trade.
Quit on this team.
You can describe it in whatever ways you want to describe it.
You have to understand that AB's time with the Steelers was virtually drama-free up until this point, so many wondered if his dramatic antics were simply a strategic ploy to tank his trade value while forcing himself off the Steelers.
And I think the more he talks, the more he's on social media, the more certain teams are scared off. And maybe he's trying to do it intentionally to lower the return that the Steelers will get.
Maybe AB was actually a secret genius rather than an impulsive and zany guy.
So when I said what I said and he said what he said, it confirmed of the whole truth of what I already had said.
Turns out he was just an impulsive and zany guy. Doing his best impression of a walrus, AB bleached his mustache to kick off the legendary 2019 offseason. One of his first viral moments during this time was when he trashed Big Ben on LeBron James' HBO The Shop.
Bro, you threw this shit to the D-line, man. How the f*** I'm gonna run it back, bro? You need to give me a better ball.
I would have liked for me and Ben to be cool, but when I've been in his house one time, he been in my house one time. We don't work out in the offseason.
This new liberated AB went absolutely nuclear on his former team, foreshadowing his ascent as a comedy legend.
Any NFL teams out there watching, hit my phone. If you're one of them teams out there with a camaraderie bad, the energy bad, the players, haters, I don't want to play there. If your squad out there want to win, and your squad want a hungry wide receiver who the best in the whole world, someone hit my phone.
Watching all this unfold from thousands of miles away in Oakland, California, was legendary head coach Jon Gruden, aka longtime admirer of Antonio Brown.
It is a thing of beauty watching Antonio Brown work. He can run all the routes.
He's the hardest working man, I think, in football. Hardest working player I've ever seen practice. I've seen Jerry Rice, I've seen a lot of good ones, but I put Antonio Brown at the top.
Gruden was smitten and thought he was about to get the chance to coach another Jerry Rice. While many coaches shy away from dramatic and hot-headed players, Gruden always saw himself as a diva whisperer. Like a woman inexplicably drawn to troubled men, Gruden always held the belief that he alone could fix them.
In some ways, John, I think, has got a lot of Father Peter in him. He thinks he can save or reach every player.
And everybody always thinks that they're going to be the one that controls the guy. But I think that we've seen his conduct become more and more outrageous over time.
Little did Gruden know, AB would go on to become his biggest project ever. And early in the 2019 offseason, AB returned Gruden's advances by teasing Raiders fans with a workout video.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got the black and gray on already. Hello.
Hey, I'm announcing my new team in like a little bit, all right? I'm announcing. I love you guys, man. Sorry for all the confusion.
Meanwhile, Raiders quarterback Derek Carr was only a few years removed from being regarded as the best QB in the NFL in 2016.
If you're a Raiders fan right now, you're thinking, we can come out of the Carr era with at least a Super Bowl win, maybe multiple appearances, maybe more than one Super Bowl. I think they're that special.
If you had a draft of all the players, who are you picking before Derek Carr? I mean,
But in 2017, the Raiders declined to a 6-10 record, culminating in head coach Jack Del Rio getting fired.
Spoke with Mark Davis after the game, and Mark let me know that he's not going to be bringing me back.
He told you at the stadium today, or?
Just a few minutes ago.
However, Carr's individual play still earned him a spot in the Pro Bowl for the third consecutive season. While he was there, he made a new friend.
Derek Carr, man, he's special. Derek Carr special. It's been an honor catching the ball from him. I mean, he's a great young quarterback, man, young champion. All the fundamental tools to be one of the greatest.
In 2018, Carr was set to play under his third head coach in only 4 seasons. The Raiders decided to swing big, hiring their former head coach Jon Gruden by luring him out of the broadcast booth.
This rumor with Gruden, he's about to coach again. He just fits
the Oakland Raiders.
He knows the fan base. He's had enormous success there.
Jon Gruden's going to be the next coach of the Oakland Raiders.
And you better like the taste, guys. There's just nothing there tonight. Try something else. It's up for 200 Jets. Tell Ricky to look cute.
In the Raiders and Gruden, a return to the silver and black, something that owner Mark Davis had always wanted.
Since the late Raiders owner Al Davis hired Jon Gruden the first time in 1998, Gruden had become a celebrity and a household name. After the infamous Tuck Rule game cheated the Raiders out of playing in the AFC Championship in the 2001 season, Gruden was traded away to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. After winning a Super Bowl against his own team, he fizzled out with the Bucs and was eventually fired. He then made a name for himself as one of the most entertaining broadcasters in the tradition of John Madden. Once his co-workers found out Gruden was headed back to the sideline, they said their tearful goodbyes.
I tell you what we think about you and how much you've meant to us and to Monday Night Football. Thank you. What a great way to send you up. Appropriately so. Thank you.
Raiders owner Mark Davis had been desperately pursuing Jon Gruden for years, so you could even hear the chills in his voice when Davis announced that he'd finally landed him.
I'd like to introduce, excuse me for a moment here, Raider Nation, this is a big effing deal. Please welcome the head coach of the Oakland Raiders, Mr. Jon Gruden.
This was a truly historic reunion.
Buddy like you, and I just have to tell you, it is great to be back, man.
When have you ever heard of a head coach being traded away from his team, beating them in the Super Bowl the next year, and then returning to his old team 16 years later?
Very few times in life do you get a chance to reunite with your family and your friends like we are here tonight, yeah?
Former Raiders couldn't help but laugh at the bizarre and unprecedented situation.
All of us just want to know, is there a no trade clause in your deal?
But things were very different the second time around. This time, there was no way he was getting traded. Gruden was locked into a fully guaranteed 10-year, $100 million contract.
Right now, Jon Gruden has 5 to 6 years before he's actually on a hot seat where he could lose that job. Chucky better be right about his vision. If not, you're in for a long haul.
You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, and you can't rebuild a team without tanking. Gruden, of course, had to deny all this publicly.
I'll say this, we're not tanking anything. You know, I hear the hatred out there, some of the rumors that we're tanking it to get a first-round pick or a higher pick. You know, we're not getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to tank it. Ain't nobody tanking it. And I don't know who wrote that or who said that, who thinks that, but that ain't the case here.
But Gruden's moves said otherwise, especially after he made an extremely controversial decision.
The Oakland Raiders expected to trade Raiders defensive end Khalil Mack to the Chicago Bears.
Because I've never seen anything this dumb before. It's incomprehensibly stupid because that locker room is going to be in psychological shambles over this.
The truth is, Khalil Mack was set to become the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. A tanking team at the outset of a long-term rebuild would never pay Mack what he deserved, so Mack was forced to hold out while Gruden tried to cover his tracks.
Obviously, Khalil Mack didn't want to play here. You know, that's what's being missed here. He was under contract, Lisa. He never showed up for an OTA. He never showed up for training camp.
They also traded away wide receiver Amari Cooper in mid-October to the Cowboys for a first-round pick. After this second trade, 7 veteran players told the New York Times under anonymity that they didn't believe Gruden about not tanking.
From a veteran perspective, that's tough, because in my head, I'm thinking, we're going to be good when they go to Vegas. They ain't worried about what they're doing right now.
Gruden then signed a ton of old vets way past their prime to cheap one-year contracts, making them the oldest team in the NFL. So it was no surprise that their season was effing miserable.
Just throw the flag on me, will you? I've had enough f***ing grief.
It got so bad that Gruden and Carr fought on live TV.
And yeah, Gruden's not happy. I'll let the lip readers take it from here. What appears to be frustration.
Even though the tanking team was rebuilding, Gruden told the world that he already had his quarterback.
But we have one hell of a quarterback in Derek Carr.
Derek Carr threw for over 4,000 yards for the first time in his career, and with a depleted roster, despite the team ending with an abysmal 4-12 record. However, that didn't stop pundits in the media from taking shots at the quarterback. For the first time in his career, Carr was feeling the pressure prior to the 2019 season.
You haven't been that damn impressive. Pick 6, interceptions, starting off the season 1-8.
And I believe that Jon Gruden will get rid of Derek Carr at a certain point. If I see a guy look scared in the moment, like he doesn't want contact, I infer from that he didn't want it.
Derek Carr, known for being polite and religious, never sparred with anyone, much less publicly, but this must have hit a nerve.
He questioned my desire and want to. This man has never talked to me in my entire life. This man has never worked out with me. He's never woke up early with me to study, to go and play hurt and all these kind of things. But when you start talking about a man's character and want to and desire, that's just a different story. And I don't think there's anybody holding these guys accountable.
Then Derek Carr actually challenged the ESPN host to a no-holds-barred MMA fight.
Not only did he call us clowns, but he talked about us wanting us in the octagon.
The Raiders, Gruden, and Carr were suffering blows from everyone, fans and pundits alike. By 2019, they desperately needed to do something big to shut down all the haters. Gruden knew he had to assemble his trusted cast of absolute maniacs to pull off the impossible.
I want better etiquette, but more than anything, I want better execution. Are we clear on that? I want better fucking execution. Not a lot of people expect very much from us, do they? I'm tired, man. I'm tired of reading about it. It's time for you to stick your foot up somebody's ass, man.
Richie Incognito was a longtime star offensive lineman whose tough play.
What a block. Oh my God.
Yeah, bitch.
Led to him being labeled one of the dirtiest players in the league. He never denied it. To be fair to Incognito, he played in an era that was more dangerous than today. But Incognito has also been accused of using racially charged trash talk on the football field.
We know he uses racial slurs against teammates, against trainers, against opponents.
Wait, so he's calling you the N-word?
Yeah, he kicked me and called me that. One time I said, really?
It didn't bother you?
Football game there. No. Just come on.
Incognito claimed he and his teammates always joked around inappropriately.
And how our teammates, how we communicate, it's vulgar. It's not right.
While he was on a team outing at a bar earlier this year, TMZ video shows Incognito shirtless and shouting the N-word and other expletives.
There's a lot of colorful words thrown around the locker room that we don't use in everyday life.
Incognito's locker room talk finally caught up with him when fellow offensive lineman Jonathan Martin accused Incognito of racially charged bullying. Martin even claimed he retired because of the bullying.
Incognito reportedly uses expletives and racial slurs toward Martin.
But Richie Incognito's teammates defended him, saying this kind of locker room trash talk is commonplace.
Black players seem to be accepting of you using the N-word.
Even going so far as to call Incognito an honorary black man while giving him a N-word pass.
They labeled you an honorary black man.
That some black players said Richie Incognito was an honorary black. There's no such thing.
The fact that I was an honorary black man, I think that just alludes to the fact that I'm just one of the guys.
Almost a decade later, Jonathan Martin finally admitted the truth. He said his advisors encouraged him to use Incognito's trash talk as an excuse to retire.
Former Dolphins offensive lineman Jonathan Martin admitting that he made up that fellow lineman Richie Incognito was bullying him.
But the damage was already done. Incognito was suspended for an entire season before eventually being released. He bounced around a few teams before experiencing a mental health episode in 2018, which unfortunately went viral. His father had just passed away, and Incognito stormed into the funeral home, housing his father's body, making horrific requests.
He started yelling at staff. There was one staff member who was saying he was being incoherent and rambling and making bizarre requests.
Employees said Incognito wanted to, quote, cut his father's head off for research purposes and then walk through the funeral home punching caskets and throwing things.
But the bizarre behavior didn't end there. After getting arrested, Incognito is on body cam footage having what looks like a psychotic break.
They said retire, and I said, F you, I'll never retire. Won't play ever again. I won't have all my fucking money, and I don't want to fucking play. They want to bring me to Seattle. They want to bring me to DC. They want to bring me to Minnesota. Talk to all these things. I don't want to fucking go. All right, I'll go.
Of all the cities that Richie Incognito said he didn't want to play in, Oakland was noticeably absent. Despite all these issues, the Raiders were willing to take a chance on him.
There's edge guys and there's maniacs. And the idea that Jon Gruden would lean into this, like, we already think the Raiders might have a little dysfunction. Well, let me sign Richie Incognito, who didn't even play football last year.
The Raiders claimed they were getting a reformed Incognito, and Richie himself claimed to have matured. Gruden must have believed him because he even made him a team captain. With Richie now an Oakland Raider, Gruden continued assembling his freakishly talented cast of miscreants.
Vontaze Burfict is a menace, and it could really, really hurt someone on the football field.
There's no question about the fact that linebacker Vontaze Burfict was possibly the dirtiest player of his generation.
He is the single most dangerous, forget dirty, most dangerous player in the league.
Players have called out Burfict for twisting ankles, and he's even been caught on camera deliberately stepping on other players. After one shot in particular, he threatened to fight Rob Gronkowski.
Burfict and Gronkowski exchanging words.
Well, that would be a MMA match, wouldn't it?
Burfict is infamous for twisting Cam Newton's ankle, outraging Newton's former teammate Greg Olsen to such an extent that he wanted the NFL to ban Burfict for life.
And I think the punishment needs to go beyond a fine, or guys like that don't learn from that stuff. You know, he's been fined 100 times for headhunting, and he did it to Kelvin again. You watch the film, he does it, you know, it's just what he is.
But the Raiders defensive coordinator, Paul Gunther, knew all about Burfict as a linebacker coach with the Cincinnati Bengals. The Raiders knew about Burfict's high IQ and wanted him to wear the green dot. In other words, to lead the defense and be a coach on the field. Gruden didn't just add psychos like Incognito and Burfict to the roster, he made both of them team captains.
The two guys with the absolute shakiest rap sheets. The Raiders might have gone out of their way this offseason to employ them both. I really do believe the Raiders have the top 2 draft picks of crazy. And you didn't have to. Vontaze Burfict, Richie Incognito, that's coming at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know who's breaking it up.
Oh, it's going down.
After this signing in particular, Gruden was asked if the Raiders cared about character.
Well, there's always an emphasis on character. I mean, you know, we're always trying to find great guys. Isn't everybody?
To show his undying commitment to character, Jon Gruden then made a play for Antonio Brown. But to really appreciate this moment, you need a little context.
On the sideline, the whole time it seemed like Vontaze Burfict and...
Oh my goodness.
When Vontaze Burfict was on the Bengals, he played AB and the Steelers twice a year. During one of those games in 2016, Burfict committed one of, if not the most notorious penalized hits in the modern NFL. Understandably, AB called Burfict an idiot.
What would you say to Burfict?
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Many fans and NFL pundits have seriously suggested that this hit triggered CTE in Antonio Brown.
Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah, we can't forget
but
that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys pick a point in the career that you guys think you could focus on a target or try to say that I'm. So you trying to say I'm diagnosed with CTE from a hit?
AB always downplayed this event, while Burfict, who initially apologized about the hit, tended to defend his nasty style of play.
Man, I'm not the only one that hit the dude, man. I mean, you know, he's a receiver. You're going to get hit. It's a physical game. You score and you dance on the defense. Of course, you're going to have people that want to, you know what I mean, hit you when you get the ball. So.
But at the same time, the Steelers and AB were clearly upset. Fast forward to a year later when AB's teammate, young Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, cracked Burfict so hard he left the game. As fate would have it, Jon Gruden was broadcaster that Monday night.
Number one concern is how is Vontaze Burfict, who has played his heart out tonight.
After the game, you can hear AB shouting karma when Juju was asked about the hit.
I didn't trip. I got straight cash on it.
Also
karma.
That's not me.
It's called karma.
I apologize for that. And
it's called karma.
With that being said,
it's called karma.
Notice this comment here that says, lost a lot of respect for Brown right here. Imagine this guy's reaction after witnessing the next few months.
I'm not trying to prove to the general manager. If you think I'm not a good player, if you think I want to do you right, I don't want to be around you. And that's what other players don't get. I don't have to play this game. I just do it for fun.
Several teams were trying to nab Antonio Brown. The Patriots quietly pursued him, but the Steelers were unwilling to trade Brown to a conference rival and Super Bowl contender. As we now know, the Patriots would find a way around this. Then, in early March 2019, the Buffalo Bills had apparently won the AB sweepstakes. Now, imagine how fans felt after AB posted this. AB used a trope from Donald Trump, fake news, to just outright reject a trade that was a done deal without a no trade clause. Suddenly, only 2 days later, Antonio Brown was traded to the Oakland Raiders for a 3rd and 5th round pick.
Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown.
The Steelers reaching an agreement to trade the 4-time All-Pro to Oakland.
Raider Nation. Let's get it.
Gruden's going to put all his eggs in that Antonio Brown basket.
Make it in. I'm making it in. Coach, what up, baby? How you doing, Coach?
Love you, brother.
Good to see you, man. Raider Nations, I'm here. I'm extremely grateful and excited to be a part of something special.
As part of this deal does, in fact, get a new contract that makes him one of the highest paid receivers in the NFL.
AB won and the Raiders won, and the Steelers lost. Huge.
All the additions on that offense make a perfect case for them to propel to first place in this division.
First day as a Raider, baby. Woo! Woo! First day as a Raider, baby. Hey, celebrate with me and my family right now. We at my crib. We just celebrating the first day as a Raider. God, I love you guys, Raider Nation. Stay tuned.
Raiders fans were ecstatic. Lacking any sympathy for Bills or Steelers fans, many in the fan base were feeling mighty confident, maybe a little too confident. AB seemed genuinely excited to join the Silver and Black and to catch passes from Derek Carr.
Ooh, get in there. Yeah. Me having a lot of moments with Derek Carr at the Pro Bowl, I always felt like it was a good fit and a great opportunity. Oh my God, I look like he's working, bro. Love you, bro. See you.
Oh, that's right. You got some moves on the low.
He even called it love at first sight while reposting an exchange between the men at the Pro Bowl.
Quarterback Derek Carr for the Raiders, who has been pushing for this deal for some time. He has already made contact with Brown. That relationship obviously key.
Derek Carr even quoted AB's wishful slogan at the time, "Business is booming." One of the most dysfunctional organizations in the league, the Raiders seemed to provide the perfect level of stability for AB. He even ditched the walrus mustache before the introductory presser.
You talk about encouraged by the press conference. Where's the crazy guy with the yellow mustache that's been yelling at us for the last couple of months?
He's all business.
Was
man.
that all an act to get himself traded to Oakland? And now we're going to see the Antonio Brown that we used to see in Pittsburgh, quiet and productive and happy.
I'm extremely grateful to be here. It's what a great opportunity for me and my family.
The optimism in Raider Nation was contagious.
Thanks, bro. You made their day. And we're winning double rings this year, though. That's for sure.
I want to have the best receiving core in football, and I think to have the best, you got to have the best.
It may sound unbelievable today, but at the opening presser, AB was humble, calm, professional, and dead serious about winning with the Raiders.
I bring accountability. I bring actions. Not what I say, what I do. How I approach things. We're going to hold each other accountable.
Analysts were wary of this new responsible AB.
I had to laugh when he said super accountability.
I'd stop talking about all the accountability stuff and focus on leading by example first.
But AB continued to compliment his new head coach and quarterback, affirming his commitment to the Raiders organization.
Mr. Gruden played a big factor in me being here today. Obviously, he's an offensive genius. And Coach Gruden, being nothing but family, you're going to put your heart on the line for him. They give him whatever it takes. Spend much time with Derek, getting on the same page and getting our timing now. Now it's time to put in the work.
AB started building a relationship with quarterback Derek Carr, first by surprising him at his house.
What up, OG? Woo! Special delivery. What's up, bro? What's up, baby? I'm excited, bro. Long time ago. Isn't that crazy?
Unlike AB's relationship with Big Ben, and unlike Carr's relationship with any of his receivers, the two of them spent hours working together voluntarily in the offseason. They were determined to build chemistry as quickly as possible.
It's my friend right here.
Woo!
Chicken pie.
Today. Chicken.
What up, DC? How's it feel to have the best receiver in the league?
What up, baby?
What up, baby?
Fans in Oakland secretly filmed videos of the quarterback and wide receiver working out. There was so much excitement that both of their jerseys reached the top 50 most purchased jerseys in the 2019 offseason, with AB's Raiders jersey being the 8th highest in the NFL. Little did these Raiders fans know that these beautiful and expensive jerseys would soon become engulfed in flames. But at the time, the sky was the limit for the Oakland Raiders. They were at the outset of Gruden's 10-year plan. They had a talented and young QB who'd finally gotten them to the playoffs a couple years earlier, and now they had the best wide receiver in the NFL.
It's exciting to have him, man. I think Antonio Brown is going to bring us energy and charisma and all kind of juice. You know what, man? You got to like guys that have energy, man.
Having you here, I'm thinking it's going to be all right for us.
He can play split end, he can play flanker, he can play in the slot, he can return punts and sell popcorn at halftime. We're excited about this guy, and we're going to put him to good work.
However, NFL fans and the media were laughing up a storm at the thought of AB and Burfict teaming up. What could possibly go wrong?
He was my teammate in Oakland. I wouldn't say I enjoyed him as a teammate. But you know, I don't know.
But we can't talk about this team in 2019 without also talking about their legendary rookie draft class. Edge defender Max Crosby was selected in the 4th round. 6 years later, he's one of the best defensive players in the NFL and one of the greatest Raiders pass rushers in team history. Running back Josh Jacobs was a 1st-round pick. He has since cemented himself as one of the best running backs in the NFL after earning the 3rd highest rushing yards in Raiders team history. Wide receiver Hunter Renfrow was a 5th-round pick who ended up becoming a starting slot wide receiver for the Raiders for 3 years, despite his size.
We have decided to get bigger, faster, better conditioned athletes. So we have Hunter Renfrow.
Unfortunately, a couple of the Raiders' 1st-round picks in 2019 did not live up to the expectations, which made the Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper trades sting that much more. An enraged Raiders fan reacting to their 4th overall pick went super viral, but the Raiders had another trick up their sleeve: tight end Darren Waller. He had languished on the Baltimore Ravens practice squad in the throes of drug addiction. Gruden helped him clean up, renewing his faith in the game, and Waller went on to tie the Raiders' franchise record in receptions for a single season. Waller was especially hyped for the 2019 season.
Curious what could have happened if we got Antonio Brown in the mix. You and AB and Josh Jacobs, we had a pretty good army.
I don't know how that might have been. I mean, you talk about greatest shows on turf.
Suffice it to say, the Raiders had stacked talent, generational talent. All they needed was to keep Antonio Brown on the straight and narrow. Of all the challenges they faced, that would prove to be the most difficult.
Good. Two times.
Optimism and euphoric hype set the tone for training camp. AB, for his part, said all the right things.
Camaraderie is key. You know, any team, you need camaraderie. So that's what we are here today, build camaraderie.
We're going to need you to kind of be, their mentor and helping them out a little bit.
I'm here to lead it and take this thing over.
Because I've watched you practice.
Whatever you need from me, I'll take this thing by whole.
Little did they both know they would get into a heated confrontation months later. AB did his best impression of a leader and a captain after hitting the media circuit, but struggled to pronounce basic words.
I'm looking to put an exclamation mark on my work.
You handle all that seamlessly, beautiful.
Seamlessly.
Yeah, 3 syllables.
I'll look that up.
But what did this eccentric cast of NFL outlaws, a veritable real-life longest yard, require the most? A camera and an audience. Fortunately for the world, HBO was on it.
You got to end somebody's dream. You got to take their job. You got to take their heart. Are you guys clear about this NFL shit now?
The Raiders knew that AB would make for good television, and they encouraged his eccentricities.
I'm thinking this is normal, and what things I see a hot air balloon. Antonio Brown.
Oh, Raider Nation, I'm here in Napa. It's time to get to work, baby. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
No other season of Hard Knocks can come close to this season, owing to its bizarre cast of characters.
They put us on Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
What a collection I was assembling. You
were,
guys.
yes.
I was trying to bring back the old Raiders, the 75, 80 Raiders.
And AB, Richie, Vontaze Burfict. Like, you think about the craziest they were all on our team.
The whole world watched alongside the Raiders as Antonio Brown showed his first signs of trouble. As with any freakishly talented diva traded to a struggling organization, Brown got cold feet. A cryotherapy accident in Paris enabled a joke too perfect for reality, a joke that would be stranger than fiction.
Yeah, my feet is pretty much getting circumcised, right? Got circumcised on my feet, you know. Hopefully my feet born again.
AB was forced to miss practice due to his frostbitten feet, but that did not concern Jon Gruden.
You know, there's been a lot of reports out there. I can't say I agree with all of them, but I support this guy. You know, I think that's what needs to be said.
Oh, it's a total accident. AB did something stupid. He's burned up his feet and jeopardized his season. And Jon Gruden's out here having to explain and rationalize this.
This foot injury wasn't his fault. You know, this was a total accident, and it's a serious injury. I know some people are smarting at it, but it's really not a laughing matter. The guy was hurt. He was innocent. He didn't do anything wrong.
But after AB's feet warmed back up, another problem loomed. AB thought the new regulation helmets protruded too much, interfering with his vision. He insisted on using his 10-year-old helmet or else.
Brown filed a grievance against the league over their enforcement of helmet regulations.
In a now deleted post on Instagram, Brown actually suggested the unthinkable.
Now it gets weirder in the sense that he has actually told the team that he will not play football again unless he gets to wear his old helmet.
Antonio Brown is what he always is, which is he's just loud and annoying and aggravating and destructive to a team.
No one in the history of football has ever taken a helmet issue and blown it up into this.
But the new twist here is that Jon Gruden looks like a dope.
Has anybody seen my friend Antonio Brown?
The Raiders head coach who has no choice, Chris Sims, but to support Antonio Brown.
I give the guy credit for standing up for what he believes in. Everybody else does it in this country.
Your whole offense is built around him, and he's too immature to handle this helmet thing.
I'm not going to get into all that. I want the guy out here as soon as possible. I'd like him to never leave and stay in the huddle every play. But, you know, life goes on. You got to continue to work.
He knows, just as we know, as soon as he shows up, and we, you know, fully expect him to and can't wait for him to come back, we're going to wrap him around with our arms and, you know, bring him in because he's one of our teammates and we love him.
And they know that he is temperamental and that he could get himself in a position where he's upset with Gruden, upset with the team, upset with anyone who doesn't fully and completely support this ridiculous effort to try to wear the helmet that he wants to wear.
And he's going to be fine. And I'm hoping he'll be back next week full speed.
AB's commitment to clear vision and reduce head safety was so strong, he only showed up to a single training camp practice.
Despite only practicing in just one practice so far with the Raiders this preseason, he has dominated the headlines in Oakland as well.
Their whole offseason is built around him. Everything Gruden's trying to do with the quarterback is built around him, and this guy's unavailable.
But can you blame him? He hardly had any time to practice because he was too busy buying silver helmet paint at an arts and crafts store in order to make his old helmet look like it was new. No, seriously, that really did happen.
The idea that Antonio Brown at one point took his old helmet and tried to paint it with the Raiders colors and sneak it onto the field, that's how far this has come.
But the diva whisperer, Jon Gruden, still felt like he had a fighting chance to salvage the situation. While AB was fighting with the league over use of his old helmet, Gruden passionately defended him.
Thanks for supporting me, Coach. My head, the feet, people were after me. I've been there. You've been a constant supporter, Coach. Thank you.
And the helmet thing is a personal matter to him. You know, he has a strong feeling about what he's worn on his head, and we're supporting him. I'm excited. I got some plays for him. I hope we can start calling him.
Pundits and analysts were already declaring the AB Raiders experiment an abysmal failure.
out of 2,000 plus players, he's the only one that's acted this way, making an absolute damn fool of himself. Just an embarrassment, to be quite honest with you.
You are letting so many guys down that are going to bat for you, that are waiting for you to get within the fold. We're counting on you, and this is what you're doing.
Every single time he's got a problem, he has to be out of practice. He has to leave. He can't be around his team.
When I think of a diva, I think of cancer and a locker room problem. This guy is the biggest locker room problem I've seen in the history of football.
What's wrong with you being around your teammates? Since you're arguably the face of this franchise and you're a leader, what's wrong with doing that?
This guy is at the top. He's on the Mount Rushmore of divas.
You know Jon Gruden. I know Jon Gruden. My brother played for Jon Gruden.
He did.
Jon Gruden is seething because he said, man, we gave you all this money and you up here shucking and jiving about a helmet?
Gruden and Derek Carr couldn't be shaken from their newfound optimism.
Had a pretty good understanding in spite of what people think. We had a pretty good understanding what's going to happen, and now we're ready to get rolling.
You expect him for the opener?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Is there any question in your mind that Antonio Brown will play for this team this year?
Oh, no, not to me. He'll be back, we'll be ready to roll, and fired up to have him.
Can you blame them? Gruden and Carr had seen AB on the field. They watched his crisp route running. They had tasted paradise, and they knew they could be Super Bowl contenders if they could just keep the delicate Jenga tower from crashing.
You're starting to look great. Love you, Brody.
Love you too.
Starting in jail.
And it's fun.
It's fun.
He made the routes look better than anybody I've ever seen, and his conditioning was sick. I thought, I went home and got hammered one night after minicamp. I told my wife, I said, we're going to complete every pass.
He freaking takes off, touchdown. I'm like, I'm looking at Gruden. I'm like, bro, I might throw for 6,000 yards with him, Waller, all these guys.
Yeah. We're going to go to the Super Bowl, honey.
If you got any problems, anything bothering you, if you have any problems, I got problems. But at the end of the day, let's keep it simple. Football comes first.
Things suddenly turned around when, in the second preseason game, AB suited up.
Antonio Brown has been serving up sports debate show red meat. All things AB when we come back.
We got our boy, bro.
In a helmet.
Great job.
Yeah, right.
Great job.
Yeah.
We've had a pretty good understanding of the foot injury. We know where he's been. We know what he's been through. We're thrilled to have him back. And
You see him fly. It's a lot of people.
Raider fans,
They're ready.
you know what you need to do? You need to bring that out when we throw balls before the game.
Done. See you guys later. We're leaving.
AB even treated fans to a hype video before the game. Fans got a sneak peek of the season. AB was jovial and happy signing autographs. The team looked like it had real chemistry, and all those distractions felt like minor speed bumps fading away in the rearview mirror.
Just look at him on the sideline. He's smiling, he's laughing, he's happy. And that's where it should be.
Feel good?
Feel
good? Good. Yeah. You stay with me on the sideline. All right.
It has been nothing but smiles and embrace and love and energy with him in rejoining this Raiders team.
Can I throw a hit to him?
In the game?
No, today.
Let me think about that. No.
After the game, AB even told the media that they're gonna see more of him.
You guys will be seeing a lot of me here shortly, so I'm just excited to be around my teammates in the building.
But the very next Sunday, disaster struck. The NFL rejected AB's appeal to use his old and differently painted helmet. Brown protested this turn of events the only way he knew how, by skipping practice.
Antonio Brown's not in the building today. He won't be practicing. I don't have any more information for you right now.
But while Gruden was convinced he could get through to Brown, the Raiders general manager Mike Mayock had finally had enough.
At this point, we've pretty much exhausted all avenues of relief. It's time for him to be all in or all out.
Shocking the Raiders and everyone else in the world watching this slow-motion train wreck, Mayock's strategy actually worked. AB came back to practice.
Should we have said, hey, JJ, do his feet look good? Knock on wood if they do.
He even wore a new helmet, which was approved by the NFL and came with some sponsorship money. The feet were warm, the head was helmeted, and the Raiders were marching triumphantly to Week 1 of the 2019 season on Monday Night Football.
I look forward to making you guys excited all year. We're the nation, here we go. Let's go. Let's get it.
However, quietly behind the scenes, the Raiders brass were furious that AB's helmet fiasco was a sham.
He came out this morning and taunted the team. You know that helmet deal I got? It's just a big joke. So what you're telling me is you disrupted all of camp so you could make a deal.
All offseason long, the Raiders were on a wild ride, the AB roller coaster. All offseason, they were up and then down, up again, down again. So what better way to end this wild ride than with one final terrifying freefall? It was the bizarre finale this wacko saga deserved, and it lasted nearly a week, right up to the night before their first game. 5 days before their first game, general manager Mike Mayock, who worried about overpaying a no-show diva wide receiver, hatched a plan to pressure AB into perfect attendance. He hit Antonio Brown with fines, $50,000 per 9 missed practices in training camp.
Posted today on Instagram a photo of a fine letter he received for the team.
AB was so furious that he posted the GM's letter to him on Instagram for the world to see with the caption, "When your own team want to hate, but there's no stopping me now. Devil is a lie. Everybody's got to pay this year. So we clear." Ironically, that might be the least clear statement ever written. But AB was so angry the next day that he actually showed up to practice to fight.
From what I understand, Antonio Brown did say, "I'll hit you in the face," and then took the ball, punted it, and said, "Find me for that."
He screamed at Mike Mayock about the fines and threatened to beat him up while uttering his famous line, foreshadowing his ascent as Twitter race troll par excellence. Yes, he called Mike Mayock a cracker.
You go to Mike Mayock, you threaten to punch him in the face, you call him a cracker or whatever. I am not a white individual, so y'all have to tell me what that means to y'all.
You and I and everyone we know understand that it is an egregious miscarriage of justice that this interaction was not documented on Hard Knocks, especially because of all the teammates witnessing this altercation. It was Vontaze Burfict who held AB back from tearing Mayock to shreds. When Vontaze Burfict is the peaceful voice of reason, you're effing up.
He threatened to hit the general manager in the face and then punted the football away and then said, "Find me for that."
Shocking no one, news broke that the Raiders intended to suspend Antonio Brown for at least the first game, which could jeopardize Brown's guaranteed money.
He's facing suspension.
Is Antonio all right? He didn't behave like this before he started getting this money.
There's something wrong with AB. Antonio Brown has been an absolute embarrassment.
After all the fanfare over Antonio Brown, imagine if he never ran a route for this team this year.
It seemed like Gruden's strategy of giving Brown the illusion of leniency, all the while knowing that AB's unexcused absences would give the Raiders an out from his contract, actually worked.
I think deep down, I think he's a really good guy. So I'm frustrated. I'm not going to say any more about it. Hope it all works out.
But after trying to fistfight the general manager, AB tried to reassure Raider Nation that he still loves them and plans on playing.
Antonio Brown still want to play for the Raiders?
I believe he does. He sworn to honor his contract and play for the Raiders.
3 days before their first game, AB publicly apologized to everyone for his behavior.
I want to apologize to my teammates, organization. I'm excited to be a part of the Raiders and see you guys soon.
Behind the scenes, AB even apologized to the team, flanked by the team captains, evidently threatening to void his guarantees owing to quote-unquote detrimental conduct, put the fear of God into AB and his agent. Crackergate was reaching a thrilling zenith, setting up a ratings bonanza for the Raiders versus Broncos matchup in Week 1. Jon Gruden announced that AB will be playing on Monday after all.
I'll just say Antonio's back today. We're really excited about that. Ready to move on.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Monday night.
That's the plan. That's the plan. Yes.
The NFL is the best reality show going right now. When you're supremely talented, like Antonio Brown is, you should not be surprised these type of things happen.
Again, in private, they know exactly what AB is, and they're not fooling themselves. We need this dude on Sundays. The rest of the week, we just gonna hold our nose and tolerate it.
Of course he was gonna play. This wasn't even hard. They don't have the guts, this Raider administration, to do anything to AB?
AB is unhinged unhinged and is capable of doing something during the game Monday that embarrasses the Raiders.
AB had apologized. He would no longer risk his money. It was only 3 days before the first game. The Jenga tower was holding steady. Then, this most bizarre chapter in NFL history managed to reach absurd new heights.
Antonio, coach is on the line.
Hey,
coach.
Hello.
Yo, what's up, coach?
What the hell's going on, man?
He leaked like Gruden's call on the fucking Instagram. Bro, literally after he came up and talked to the whole team.
You're not a villain. You're the most misunderstood human being in my entire life that I've ever met. I mean, I brought you here because you're my favorite guy. I've never seen a guy work hard.
AB walked up on the stage. He apologized. We're like, all right, bet. So we're like, okay, he's about to play. So everyone's excited. Bro, that night he posted the shit with Gruden.
Let me ask you this. Do you want to be a Raider or not?
Man, I've been trying to be a Raider since day one. I've been fucking working my ass off harder than anyone. I don't know why it's a question of me being a Raider. Like, do you guys want me to be a Raider?
You know,
that
like,
is fucking wild,
bro.
Bro,
the same day, me and Clear text
right.
bro, what?
Please stop this shit and just play football. How hard is it, man? You're a great football player. Just play football.
Yeah, but I'm more than a football player, man. I'm a real person. It ain't about the football. I know how to do that. I'll show you guys there on the daily.
The Gruden phone call video is truly one of a kind in NFL history. It's 2 minutes of Gruden pleading with him to just cut the bullshit and play, edited as a hype video. Worst of all, he published it within minutes of the Raiders announcing he would play Week 1. Most surprising of all, Jon Gruden still supported AB and even gave them permission to use his secretly recorded pleas of desperation.
3 texts. He goes, wow, I love it. Loved it. I love it. Be having you.
Gruden gave permission?
I can't be having you.
After this video, no one can dispute Gruden's commitment to football. He was an absolute simp for AB because of his freakish talent, and he was willing to say anything to get him to play. While Gruden played good cop, Mayock doubled down on bad cop. The Jenga tower finally came crashing down. 2 days before the first game, the Raiders hit AB with another fine of $215,000 for the Mayock cracker incident, calling it conduct detrimental to the team. This voided $29 million of AB's guaranteed money. Obviously, Brown wasn't going to play on a week-to-week deal without guarantees, and for the second time in 1 year, he demanded his release. The Raiders officially cut bait an hour after AB's post.
Receiver Antonio Brown asked the Raiders to release him, and within just a few hours, they did.
After months of blisters, tweets, helmets, grievances, crackers, and rumors, one of the most tumultuous off seasons in NFL history finally came to an end. The Antonio Brown Raiders era was officially over.
Antonio Brown's chapter with the Raiders, one of the most bizarre chapters that has ever unfolded with any player on any team at any point in the history of football, has now come to something of an end.
I really wanted to see him play, you know. I'm actually one of the ones that bought his jersey, so.
What are you gonna do with it now?
I don't know what I'm gonna do with it now. It's worthless now.
Raiders fans responded the only way they knew how, with kerosene and matches.
In response, this afternoon, tailgating Raiders fans burned and stomped his jersey.
AB's release was bittersweet for the team. Even though AB rarely attended team practices, the Raiders invested so much time, money, and attention into him. Carr admitted that he worked with AB this offseason more than any other wide receiver in his career.
And Derek told me, yeah, I've spent more time with this guy in this offseason than I've ever spent with any player.
It was like a breath of fresh air, bro. It was something every single day. And he was supposed to be our franchise guy.
Yeah.
Like, we're bringing AB to Las Vegas.
Like the best.
Bro.
The media felt like AB had been toying with the Raiders the entire time, and they unleashed on him.
Look up Adam Schefter.
The Raiders
free!
Bro.
He should be ashamed of himself. His family should be ashamed of him. His friends should be ashamed of him. And nobody should condone this kind of behavior.
And at the end of the day, I think they came to the realization that he's a cancer on our football team. We need to get him out. He's a team destroyer, I believe.
You were incredibly, incredibly selfish in ways that nobody in NFL history, as I'm concerned, can point to in terms of being comparable to that.
He is the kind of player I would never
ever want to play for.
After everything, Gruden genuinely seemed more disheartened than angry, and shocking no one, still defended AB.
And I wish Antonio nothing but the best. And I'm sorry that we never got a chance to see him in silver and black. Very disappointing in my career as a coach. I really look forward to coaching him, but it's not going to happen. I'm not going to sit here and talk about it all day. I'm not going to get into the emotions. I think I said the other day, it's been an emotional thing for me. And I tell you, he's a good guy. He's misunderstood by a lot of people, but he is a good guy. He's a great player, and I hope he gets what he's looking for. And I'm going to close it with that.
On the day the Raiders released him, it was announced that the sneaky New England Patriots planned to sign him. AB announced the transaction on Twitter for the world to see. Later on, AB's agent was grilled about plotting against the Raiders to unite his client with Tom Brady.
The question for fans out there who seem to think, for good reason, that the fix was in, that he wanted to get to the Patriots all along, and he got there.
Well, that is absolutely not true.
But everybody you talk to inside the NFL, whether it's executives, coaches, players, they're all saying this is totally orchestrated by the Patriots and Antonio Brown. It's been in the works forever.
We all got played, man. We did. And he was a Denzel Washington, and he won the Oscar.
You believe he had no intention of ever playing a single snap for the Raiders?
I don't. Look at all the fuss he caused. Who burns their feet? Come on.
Raiders fans were pumped up during their Monday Night Football victory against the Denver Broncos, and joining the Steelers and Bills fan bases angrily chanted FAB.
If you can't make out the chant, let's just say it's derogatory in the direction of AB.
Even though AB was now gone, the media still wanted answers as to why this happened.
I'm never going to bring it up again. As much as people talk about it, I mean, my God. I mean, I feel like someone's smashing my temple on the side of the head. Get over it, man. It's over. You know, we were good the preseason without him. You know, we gave it a shot. And now New England gets their turn. Good luck to them. But I just can't, I can't deal with it anymore, really. Sorry.
There wasn't any anger in me when I found out, to be honest with you. Despite what some people wrote, some people saw me right after and thought that I was mad at that, when Everett can tell you we were talking about something totally different, which, again, if you don't have all the details, you go out there and just write something about me. I don't like that.
Derek Carr primarily remained silent during AB's release, but his brother, former NFL quarterback David Carr, took some shots at AB on social media. This caused Antonio Brown to respond, "Yes, I don't know what this really means either." But Antonio Brown never quite got over his experience with the Raiders. He often posted about Derek Carr and the Raiders to his Twitter account. AB also acknowledged that he was talking to Jon Gruden about making his triumphant return to the silver and black in 2020.
Wouldn't rule out a Raiders return.
I just talked to Jon Gruden today, might I say. I don't know how it's going to go, but who knows. And if they want to bring it back, we'll think about it.
The Patriots quickly learned that AB was not going to work out. Mysterious allegations of SA appeared at the perfect moment to justify the Patriots releasing him. After everything that had transpired in 2019, AB ended up playing only one game that season with the New England Patriots. A hilarious meme went viral showing Gruden as AB's SA accuser, featuring Gruden in a wig. But the truth was, Gruden was still AB's biggest advocate and likely would have done anything to get him to play that season. AB even seemed to express some remorse for the wild 2019 multi-team roller coaster.
I think I owe the whole NFL apology and my past behavior. You know, I think I could have done a lot of things better.
Plenty of people mocked the Raiders for taking a chance on Antonio Brown in 2019. But if it had worked out, everyone would have called them geniuses. Over the last several years, Raiders players during that time found themselves reflecting on what could have been.
Antonio Brown.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Nice. I wanted him to play so bad. They had his locker next to mine.
We were this close. We almost had him.
We would have been dangerous, bro. He was a missing piece in 19, dude.
Speaking of AB, remember when we were on Hard Knocks and AB was your teammate? We had Incognito, Burfict, Antonio Brown. Were those great days?
That was my funnest training camp ever.
That's like the biggest what if of my career, I think, so far. Imagine if we had AB.
What if we had Antonio, man?
Fortunately, I didn't last long, and neither did either of you guys. We had a quick. It's a good thing they got it on Hard Knocks. Maybe they got some video they could show us. But
it was beautiful though, man. I think we could. If that team would have been, we would have been Super Bowl.
Yeah, we were on our way. We were having some fun.
It's also disappointing for Antonio Brown because although he did win a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, he was their number 3 wide receiver, and he never made serious money or put up big numbers in the NFL ever again after 2018. If AB would have just stayed with the Raiders, with a coach who genuinely loved him, and the biggest contract of his career, who knows how differently we would view him today.